you. Welcome.
Safety glasses.
First thing I like to do is get out my ID because I was blessed or cursed with this 17-year-old face, so I just want to prove that I'm of age to be here today. My name is Jonathan Tyler Stahlmann. People call me Jack. And my birth date is 04/07/1980. So just so we know, as general guidelines here, 16 to drive, 21 to drink, and 31 to be able to be a speaker at your fine organization. So thank you very much for that. I do this bit occasionally. Recently I did it, and I'm like, wow, you have a Velcro wallet, you idiot. That's why they think you're 17. Well, being an actor, producer, waiter, I learned a lot of valuable lessons along the way. And what's interesting is I just feel like all of those lessons translate to any walk of life. I'm submitting myself for these parts that I wasn't even right for. See, in Los Angeles they have breakdowns where they tell you kind of what the parts are, what's available, and you submit as you feel like you would fit. And so I'd see something that said, leading man, age 25 to 30, think young Brad Pitt, think young George Clooney. And I'd submit for these parts, and funny, the phone didn't ring. And I asked casting directors, I asked agents, but most importantly, I asked all my friends how they saw me, what they saw me doing, and I figured out that I wasn't that handsome leading man. I was cute, not hot, quirky sort of sidekick to hot leading man, boy next door type. I am Topher Grace. This is what I am. I'm never going to be Tad Hamilton. I'm going to be that underdog, sort of quirky, sort of funny character. So why is this important to you? Well, we all sort of overestimate our own abilities here. 70% of high schoolers said they had above average leadership skills, while 2% said they had below average. Now, I'm not a math genius, but that defies the law of averages. 94% of college professors say they do above average work. Isn't that remarkable? So it's only the 6% that are doing below average. And finally, people even state that they're more likely than their peers to provide accurate self-assessments. So this is a little bit depressing, isn't it? But I don't mean for it to be, because this could be a great moment for you to realize, like I did, oh my gosh, I'm not George Clooney. And so once you figure out how other people view you, well, then we can really make those adjustments in things that we didn't even know we were doing. What I do is I come in and tell you some funny stories about Hollywood, and we all have a good time, and at the end of it, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I just learned something? That's annoying. I think failure gets a bum rap because we often think about failure to complete a task. For example, if I'm going out for an audition and I don't get the part, that's a failure. But think about all the things I did to get that audition. I got the right agent who knew to submit me. I talked to the casting director who knew to bring me in for that part. And so if I didn't do all of those things, that's a failure to anticipate. And that's the problem with today's economy. It's a little bit choppy. I don't know if you've read that in the papers, but it is just a little bit. And we're staying right in that safe zone. We've trimmed the fat, but we're not taking the calculated risks because we are afraid of failure. But I think those are the risks that we need to be taking, because after a recession throughout the history of our country, what happens is there is a boom. And will you be ready if you're not taking the proper risks now? Bloomberg Businessweek talks about it this way. They say intelligent failures that happen early and inexpensively and contribute to new insights about your consumers should be more than just tolerable. They should be encouraged. Robert De Niro was once asked if he ever got nervous during an audition, and his answer was, why should I get nervous? I probably won't get the part. Now talk about a guy who understood failure, who understood that failure was a very real thing that could happen to him. And if he went out there and got the part, all the rest was just gravy. I don't like to give a cookie-cutter presentation. I like to meet with the meeting planners, make sure we know exactly what the needs are for the audience. And then, of course, I take my old Hollywood stories. We have a good time with that. And I take the principles of success, and we have a good time with that. But it's really that customization piece so that every single presentation is different and unique to your audience. There's a particular favorite movie I have called Office Space, in which 3 of the main characters, disgruntled office workers, take a fax machine out to a field and smash it into smithereens. And the looks on their faces of such utter joy and stress relief, I just thought to myself, you know, that'd be a fun thing to do. So I talked to your management about the third floor copier. I understand that that's the one that has been giving you the problem, and I couldn't afford it. But I do have the next best thing. Ladies and gentlemen, please put on your safety glasses as I present your office space moment. Who would like to be the first one to get a crack at it? Let's give it up for it. 3, 2, 1. Yeah!
Chickadee, check out the chick with the chassis and the chilling hair. Over there with the groovy green shoes. She's the kind of sugar I like to have with my coffee. Hey baby, how
Nice!
so just pour in some
Nice! Yeah, didn't that feel good? Look at that face!
Do you mind if I take a seat next to you? I never saw a honey so sweet, so head and so what's your name?
Yeah! The biggest piece yet!
Is a green one to sing, you know I hear this funky beat and I want to move, so won't you join me on the dance floor? She's machine and ride. She's machine and ride. Sweet talking sugar makes me feel like she's machine and ride. She's machine and ride. Sweet talking sugar makes me feel like it's hard.
Thank you all. Hopefully this was it fun? Okay, good.
Which is a girl so sweet, someone who's fine and right and wet. Oh shit, we need to find a place like this.
Thanks for coming.
The flavor is strong.
Thank you.
Still,
You guys are good
consider
sports.
that what I need. She is my new fun groovy girlie and I check please and going out in the world to be big and to be so sugar sweet girl. She's raw. Yeah. She's raw. Rickety raw. She's raw.